somebody cured AIDS. Y'all be like, yeah, right.
He offered cures for incurable diseases. He offered hope and life to those about to die.
An immigrant from Honduras who never went to school, college, or medical school. Yet the man known as Dr. Sebi claims to have found the cure for several life-threatening diseases, including AIDS.
He made black people question the information that they were getting from their very own medical doctors.
We have been misled not only by the foreigners that are not part of our race, but we were also our brothers that was trained by those people.
Dr. Sebi did not have to go through university systems once he realized that the knowledge was all around him.
When I told my mama that I had cured my 13 AIDS patient, she said, they're gonna make you...
The doctor has been arrested by the state attorney general.
Can you cure AIDS?
I have cured AIDS many times, sir, and I can cure AIDS again and again.
Welcome back to another episode of Talk TikTok Reaction Channel. And on this episode, we'll be discussing Dr. Sebi's Supreme Court case. I know a lot of people have been interested in hearing about it, so I got some pretty good clips for you. So just sit back and be entertained and learn a little something.
I bet you haven't heard of the man who beat Big Pharma and helped thousands of people improve their health. He was taken to court in 1988 for falsely advertising his claims to heal diseases in a newspaper. However, he won the court case, producing 77 witnesses. His name was Dr. Sebi, and he educated people on natural healing methods, using herbal remedies and his alkaline diet. The alkaline diet involves eliminating acid-forming foods, such as meats, dairy, and grains, to reduce mucus in the body. He was well known for healing celebrities such as Nipsey Hussle and even Michael Jackson. The mainstream media demonized him and made him out to be a fraud, but there are thousands of testimonials coming out of how he helped people. Click the link in my profile for a limited time sale on all of our Dr. Sebi approved alkaline herbs and products.
All right, now let's dive into Dr. Sebi's Supreme Court case. Let's listen to what he says and we'll go from there.
I was arrested. When they was putting the handcuffs on me, I asked the detectives, why are you arresting me? Because you claim to cure AIDS and sickle cell anemia and diabetes and lupus, herpes, and the rest. I said, sir, I ask you again, why are you arresting me? I know what I said. I want to know, why are you arresting me? And what was the answer? Because you said that. I said, but I know that. Why are you arresting me? Because the Supreme Court of New York said that you've been practicing medicine without a license and that you're selling products not approved by the FDA and claiming to cure AIDS, which is a fraudulent claim. I say, how do you know that? Well, you will defend yourself in court. Now look at that. I tell the truth. I had to get a lawyer. I had to go to court. I had to defend myself. And after I won, now what? You are charged with practicing medicine without a license, selling products not approved by the FDA, and claiming to cure AIDS and other diseases.
Mm-hmm. So the question is, how did you win that case?
Please tell us. We all want to know.
The toughest prosecutors in the land.
So while I was in jail, I'm saying, I wonder what defense they would have against me.
Now listen to his genius, because he actually came at an angle that it was no way that they can defeat him.
Your Honor, is it a fact that the Holy Bible teaches that the herbs are for the healing of the nations? Did he use herbs or chemicals? Not only did I prove scientifically, but I had the diagnostic sheets, and I do have them today.
Now peep game, he has the official documents from the hospitals.
1984. 1984. These documents, what they show is that we cure AIDS from a positive to a negative HIV level. Here is one. This is from the Italian hospital. HIV positive, Hospital Vicente di Antoni. He is positive. In the next page, from the same hospital, the same young man, Oswald Zavala, he is negative. The Attorney General, Mr. Robert Abraham, went on the air and said that he would have put me not in jail. He would have put me under the jail. I was looking at him saying that right here in New York on television. I watched him say that. But I knew that this white man didn't know that there was one black man stashed away someplace that has never been to school and doesn't read books. And that black man, by not going to school, is coming with a different premise, a different foundation. He was totally unaware. I knew that. I knew he was helpless. So when he said that he's going to put me under the jail, I said he's in for a big surprise. When I went to court on the Thursday, the judge said that I will have to bring one of every patient. AIDS, blindness, diabetes, lupus, herpes, sickle cell, impotence, paralysis, and others. 9. I didn't take 9 to the Supreme Court. I took 77 people with accredited medical documents, diagnostic sheets, and the judge go like this: I only want 9. Well, needless to say, with that kind of presentation I'm giving and exhibiting this, the jurors came back and said, practicing medicine without a license, not guilty, because he doesn't sell medicine. The Lancaster laboratories identify our product as being natural vegetation cell food. Not guilty for claiming that he cures AIDS, because he does, and he has proven it. The FDA cannot, under any circumstances, be the director or the controller of the diet of black people, because the FDA has no idea as to the food that is consistent with us. That was the question that brought the court to my attention. When the FDA made the statement that I should not sell my products, the judge asked me, what is your response? I said, well, the FDA is 100% right, providing they know the food that is consistent with our cellular predisposition. The judge said, what is that? I said, if I break it down, it means this. When you remove the black man from Africa, did you bring his food with him? They said, no. I said, thank you very much.
Now I want you to listen closely and look up this case also, so that you can see the case that they used to overshadow Dr. Sebi's win. So that's the reason why a lot of people didn't hear about it, because they were projecting this over all the mass media. You'll see Tawana Brawley. She was a 15-year-old who accused 4 men of R, as you can read. And that's what they used to overshadow the case. But they actually prepped her and trained her for it. And it was actually a lie. And Dr. Sebi was one of the ones who came out and actually spoke on it to tell everybody that it was a lie. I had to turn it down because it had music playing in the background, so you understand, but I'm telling you the story right here. The night of Dr. Sebi's win, when he was supposed to be celebrating, we would think, a woman actually came to visit him to let him know that they were training Tawana to do this and to overshadow everything that he's done. So they knew, just in case that he would win the trial, they would have a backup plan. So she was their backup plan. So it's crazy because they controlled the media back then. As you know, they still control the media now. So, but Dr. Sebi, like I said, was the first one to tell everybody that it didn't happen. So, but I'll let him continue on and tell you some more. And like I said, look it up for yourself and you can see the documents for yourself.
How does it feel seeing how you're his daughter when people slander him, saying that he's not no real doctor? I've never met anybody he took care of, when there clearly is proof that
documented proof, right?
It's documented proof that he's done something for somebody.
Well, first he did something for himself. This was a man who, coming from Honduras, third world country, impotent, high blood pressure, diabetes. He had some diseases. So first that healing started with him. You can't deny a man a truth that cured him. So if we sit here and say, well, he didn't cure anybody, well, he cured himself, because if he was impotent, then I wouldn't be here. I'm one of about 26 children. And I'm thankful to his journey, because then it helped us to understand what it really means to dive deep into yourself through natural methods with no help but from God, because he stuck by those truths. He took that truth all the way to the Supreme Court and won. So what do I say about people in slander? They're going to slander all day. They slandered Jesus in the Bible, and he was perfect.
If you haven't checked out the Breakfast Club interview with the Sebi family, please check that out, because it has a lot of information in it that you can gain from that.
Now, the government brought charges on him.
Brought charges on him for what they said, selling medicine without a license, practicing medicine without a license. So in that courtroom was the AMA. He's the first naturopath to go up against the AMA, which went all the way to the Supreme Court, and he beat the case. Try to get a copy of the case now. They have it sealed.
I read some of it. They said that they told him to bring in people that he healed. That he brought in. They said the courtroom was too full.
15.
Yes.
Yeah.
They asked him to bring 15. He filled the court up.
And that's not pharmaceuticals if you're telling people to eat natural fruits and vegetables.
It's food.
Yeah, it's food. It's not even like you're trying to get people to buy drugs.
No. Life is food.
I stand for the truth. Let's talk about the case, Supreme Court, New York, 1988.
We're back at Black Coffee, the refill.
What was proven then? That there is a cure for what my father stood for a disease. And I stand right there on it because it has been proven in these courts, Supreme Courts. That's pretty high, right? So as I look at that, I think about it. If it has been proven through the courts, who am I to say that it don't exist? Who am I to deny God his benefits of this earth? Because what I'm saying is God is a lie if I don't take his food, but I take his word.
For those who don't know, this is Pastor Stephen Darby Sr. He actually passed away at 45 on December 8th, 2017. And just a little insight about him, he was a kind of a big name in the Christian community as far as the preachers. He was a millionaire. His voice was heard. So hear what he's preaching about right here, and we'll kind of go from there.
They showed this black man that actually found a cure to all diseases. Black man. They fought him in the Supreme Court. He won the case. For some reason the media ain't picking that up. Don't that seem like something we ought to know? All diseases. A black man. All diseases. But y'all don't even know who he is. You know why? Now, why ain't the media pick that up? Because he's going to lose money. They're going to lose money. They ain't trying to have no cures. Y'all really believe Susan Komen is really for the cure to cancer? Y'all believe that? The money's in the raising the money. If I'm making come on, Doc. Come on. You see, we don't even think like we get saved, lose our mind. If I was making $1 billion a year off telling you I'm trying to find a cure, why would I find a cure? I'm making $1 billion.
Significant, but it is very significant. It's very significant because it's a landmark case. That landmark case also allows for you, as maybe one of many, who could say categorically, if you wanted to, that you cure. And they can't touch you because of that landmark case. So cases when they go into the Brooklyn Federal Court or Federal Court, they are now used as precedents for moving forward. And no one will stand up and say, well, I'm with Dr. Sebi because he already has proven in federal court that you can now say that you cure these so-called incurable diseases. And as a result, you have been land-based, you have been criticized, you have been ridiculed, but at the same time, the evidence is in the results, and your results have been successful. One of the things I want to ask you...
In this generation, paperwork means a lot. This is the paperwork right here. I'm not going to talk. I'm going to just let him say it. My apologies, but I had to mute it. It had music playing in the background. But I do want you to see that the paperwork is out there. I'm not the only one that found it. Man has a TikTok on it. I pulled the clip, put it out here for y'all to see. So now I'm pretty sure you can't read that. So go ahead and do your research and dive in and go and look it up for yourself. Put some fat on your head.
The beautiful thing about Dr. Sebi, he never was saying, I am the cure, or that I have this elixir or this cure that if you take this, your disease will be wiped away. he taught things like the African mineral approach to our bodies were designed to be self-healing organisms, and if cancers, AIDS, all of these things, he was just saying, I can get your body to such a level that it will be able to fight off all of those foreign entities in your body. Somebody would come in with their paper from an official doctor, get them start taking the minerals and changing their lifestyle. They would go get tested from that same doctor and then come back with results that said that their levels were at a negative level. And that's all facts.
Now Nick's gonna drop the reason why a lot of us understand and had to dive into it ourselves, because we wanted to heal ourselves. So now he's going to give you why he jumped into it himself.
Someone like myself who was diagnosed with lupus in 2012, I feel like I have suppressed the lupus to such a place that if I do what I'm supposed to do, I won't be affected. It's not no magical elixir. It's like, yo, change your life and you'll be able to overcome it.
About Dr. Sebi.
Yeah.
Like just that one thing they killed Dr. Sebi will make somebody go research who
100%.
Dr. Sebi is.
100%. I never met him. I met his wife, and I take his products for sure.
Now, the coolest guy ever. I mean, he was, when we interviewed him, I think he was about 74.
Oh, y'all interviewed him?
Yeah, we interviewed him twice.
Damn.
Not here, but when I was on the other show. He was able to jump from the floor up here on his knees.
At 70-something.
On his knees,
Yeah.
and jump back down to no problems, nothing like that.
Why you think they killed him?
Why do they kill all holistic doctors?
Messing up the medical industry.
You short stopping that grind. Why do niggas get killed for hustling in front of a nigga spot? You short stopping the grind. And these niggas, they check is billions. You got niggas that get flipped for a couple $100,000. So you playing with some pharmaceutical money, you know? And what's crazy, I'm working on doing a documentary on the trial in 1985. When Dr. Sebi went to trial against New York.
Right.
Because he put in the newspaper, he cured AIDS.
Yeah.
Did he
He beat the case.
Yeah.
And he went to federal court the next day and beat that case on record.
Yep.
And nobody talk about it.
If you recognize her face, you know she come with some heat. So one thing that I had to pull was this Confessions of the FBI. Just sit back and watch this.
Have y'all noticed that the rulers of this matrix eliminate anything that they can't control? And TikTok, I know the rulers of this government is trying to control the media, so I'm gonna just say this is fake for educational purposes and scripted. If they can't control it or they can't get their hands on it, they terminate you. Extraterrestrials, aliens, if you're watching this, please help. For example, let's talk about these police and CIA agents who have been on their deathbed confessing about people they have killed and covered up their deaths. Pretty sure we all know who Dr. Sebi is, but if you don't, he was the man who was known to cure arthritis, sickle cell, HIV, diabetes, and you name it. He got arrested, went to jail, and died from pneumonia. A herbalist. For example, Bob Marley. Don't you forget about Martin Luther King. Found guilty of assassination.
Look at the picture when Dr. King gets shot and just see what's wrong with that picture right there.
Let's talk about Malcolm X.
The FBI and New York police departments are facing new calls to finally open their records related to the assassination of Malcolm X. This comes after the release of a deathbed confession of a former undercover New York police officer who admitted to being part of a broad New York police and FBI conspiracy targeting Malcolm.
If you didn't know, it was blanks in those niggas' hands. They said, get your hand out of my pocket. They were up in the balcony, the FBI.
Or what about the doctors who have found cancer-causing situations or even cure for cancer? Found with gunshot wounds in their chest, suicide by shooting themselves in the back of the head, or just dying of natural causes. Or we could talk about the people who have figured out how to turn gas into water.
Stanley Allen Meyer was the inventor of the water fuel cell automobile, a buggy powered by water. Stanley stated that oil industry representatives had repeatedly threatened him and even offered millions of dollars to destroy all traces of his work.
And he ends up meeting with some investors, drinks something, runs outside and says they poisoned me. Then all of his work and his cars disappeared and nobody can find them now. Let's talk about Aaron Salters, who was in the Buffalo shooting, who had got killed.
A little insight. He was actually working at a store in which I think an 18, 19-year-old child walks in, kills 10 people. He's one of the 10, but he leaves unscathed. Seems kind of weird, doesn't it? Seems like the Dylan Ruths and the different... Well, I'll just stop right there.
Check this out. Aaron Salter Jr. wore many hats in his life. Retired police officer, substitute teacher. But one of his true passions was science. He built a lab in his garage where he spent countless hours working to develop an engine that could run on water. It's not running off of gas fuel.
Now, isn't it ironic that Porsche is replacing gasoline with air and water, releasing in 2022? Like I said, releasing things and dropping things when they have control over it. Don't let me get started about these dispensaries. I'm gonna have to make this in another video. Y'all stay dangerous.
With all the information I compiled, what do you think? Do you think it was a conspiracy to kill Dr. Sebi? Or do you think that it was actually pneumonia, even though he understands his body and understands how to kind of manipulate it to the way that he wants to? But what do you think? Do you think it's coincidence or no?